Hello and welcome everybody to the first workshop of AIGA 2020. Excited to be here. I'm Kevin Karnowski, a senior here at UWSP in the graphic design program. And my main objective today is to show you all what I've learned concerning 3D modeling and portraying. Uh, it comes up a lot in your junior and senior year where you need to develop a brand and or product and show that in more than just like a mock-up or more than just a bunch of different layouts of your logo or whatever. You want to be able to portray that to the best of your capability, and hopefully I can help you find a few ways to improve that capability. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with Illustrator. Can you all see this? Y'all see this pretty blank artboard here? So I'm gonna start off just by making a square. I'm gonna show you the 3D potential of Illustrator with this square and some other elements. So if you just have your square selected here and go to the effect panel, I'm sure you've all seen 3D before and the extrude and bevel option. Now, there is a lot of stuff you can do here that you might not have already known about. We're going to expand the depth a little bit here and bring that out a little bit more. We just have a nice 3D square here. You can choose different kinds of shading and choose wireframe options as well, no shading, and it'll just have the form itself. Strokes will appear. But we're just going to leave it on plastic shading for now. And yeah, this is not the only thing you can do in Illustrator. This is what I used to only know for the longest time, and I would always wonder how to get artwork on each of the surfaces while it keeps the certain perspective and all of that, and that is capable. You have the capability to do that in Illustrator here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and restart here. Make another square, go over the 3D. Once again, we'll extrude it a little bit here. And if you go down to this option called Map Art, you'll see that you have this white box here, and you have 6 of them showing each side of the square, actually. And from here, you can put your logos and other different symbols on them using the symbol tool in Illustrator. So what you can do is you can just get out of this, just cancel all of this, get some logo of some kind. I got one right here. It's really it's really clever. So this will be my logo that I'm going to use to show you how to place it on a 3D object. All you need to do is open up a symbols panel, have the object selected, and create a new symbol. We'll just call this one design. You can make it a graphic. It can stay as a movie clip. It doesn't really matter. Hit OK. It is now a symbol, and it will be in your symbols library. So when we go back to the 3D option in Effect panel, we can put it on each side that we want, and it is a very helpful tool. It will align it so it looks correct in each perspective, and you can do this on every surface. So this is on the back side, and you can't actually see it from right here, but if we were to rotate it, we could. So we're going to choose this side then too as well. And you can change the orientation however you want, the size. Wow, look at that. So this is probably the fastest way, the fastest 3D modeling that you can do for simplified tools and objects. And then once you have this all made too, you can still select it all and expand it. and you can play with each side individually as well. There's not a lot of purpose for this, but I have used it a few different times if you just want single slices of each one. And then once you expand it as well, you can still edit your logo while it's still on it in the right perspective as well. So that is one way you can manipulate 3D objects in Illustrator. I'm going to show you another one that actually has more capability to it. So we're going to make another rectangle here. We'll make this one light blue. Why not? We'll just make a rectangle here. We'll go back to the 3D panel. And this time we're going to rotate it. Actually, no, we're going to revolve it. I'm sorry, revolve. This is a really easy way to make cylinders. Once again, here you can do the map art as well and get your logos on each different side of the cylinder, like so. And you can manipulate your object with anchor points here if you want to make it taller or shorter. So this is how you would make cylinders in a three-dimensional manner and keep your logo on it in the right perspective. But this isn't the only potential of the rotate method. You can create your own 3D objects. For example, if I wanted a bottle shape, I'm going to show you how to make a 3D bottle. So we're going to lock this image in place. I'm going to use a pen tool, and I'm going to outline half of the object. You can get detailed here if you want to get all the curves correctly, but I'm just going to do a quick outline of this object. I'm not really going to try curving it or anything like that for your sake. But you can go right around every edge as close as you want and end it roughly halfway from your starting point or halfway down the bottle and end it in the same place you started as such. So you have this half bottle shape now. And then when you go to 3D and do the revolve, it's going to look weird at first because it's rotating it the wrong way. So make sure you click right edge when you get there, and voila. You have yourself a 3D bottle in Illustrator. Once I figured this out, this is where I started to make a lot of different objects. You can do a lot of different things that are round. You can do all sorts of bottles, cans, everything like that, everything you can imagine. You can do all the little lips correctly. You can do bottle caps, all that fun stuff. And then obviously, once you have this made, there's a lot of options you can do in the more options panel. You can choose the light intensity to get the shading correctly, however you want. I like to do low ambient light to get that dramatic shadow in there. And then once you throw your logo on there, using the symbols and the map art, it's going to look really, really nice. You can change the size. I'll change the size of this so it's all on there for you. And there we go. We just made a whole 3D bottle and we got our nice proper logo on it, and that is much more ready to show than some vector cutout, and it only took a few minutes to make. This is probably the most you can do with Illustrator. I'm not a total expert. I haven't delved a whole lot further into it, but this is where Photoshop comes in, where we can make more models and start to do more things with them and ultimately bring them into dimensions. So without further ado, I'm going to switch over to Photoshop. Let me just switch screens quick here. It's going to take a second. So now we're in Photoshop. We're just going to make a new document here. It can be whatever size you want. It won't really matter. And we're going to do the same principle before when we made the bottle. So we're going to pen out an object, half of it, and we're going to rotate it again. So I'm just going to make a cup this time. And to make a cup, you just kind of make like an L shape, similar to this. And in Photoshop, you want to make it so it's not just a line, you want to make it a whole shape that you're going to revolve. So now that I have this whole shape, I can go into 3D and do a new 3D extrusion layer from a selected path. And you're going to be brought into like a whole new menu that you may have never seen before in Photoshop. I had no idea this existed for the longest time. And this was really helpful when I found it out. So here we go. It just applies the standard bevel, as you can see here, to it. But that's not what we want to do. We want this to rotate and create a cup. So if you head over here to the right side panel and properties, go to shape presets, and there's a whole lot of things you can do with this object. If you just go through and click on all these, they do a bunch of weird, funky stuff. Some of it's like unexplainable, and I don't know when you'd use a lot of this stuff. But if you go all the way to the bottom left corner, you'll see a cylinder with a hole in it, and that's what you're looking for. So here we go. We just clicked on that, and it revolves the whole thing and makes a cup. So with this cup, you can do a lot of different things here. You'll notice that there's a hole in the bottom, and that can be fixed with extrusion depth over here. If you just make this 0 or any negative number, it will get rid of that, but also make the object smaller. And I'm just rotating by using the left click here, and you can rotate it all sorts of different ways. You can move it on the X and Y axis using those tools as well. You can click on the background to rotate that instead. It's pretty easy to use. There's a lot of different things you can do in Photoshop to edit this, but I'm going to save editing the object itself for dimensions. So I'm going to show you how to get this object that you created into Adobe Dimensions, because in Adobe Dimensions, you can select the materials and lighting of many different objects, but you can't create them there. So if you want objects in Dimensions created, you need to use Photoshop, or you need to find object files online to import to Dimensions. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to the 3D panel. We're going to export the 3D layer. You're going to have this window come up. Make sure you select Wavefront OBJ, and that'll save it as an object file. Texture format, not really relevant. We'll just click OK here. Save it somewhere you can find it. I'll just save it to, sure, I'll just save it in this folder. We'll call it the cup. So there we go. We just saved this cup. And now I'm going to move over into Adobe Dimensions to show you what you can do with the cup that you just created. All right, let me.
Sorry, Kevin. So when you saved that, was it just a Photoshop file?
No, actually, if you go back to the save and export, you go to the OBJ, to Wavefront OBJ.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's what it'll save it as.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then it'll be .obj in your files. So, yep.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, now I'm gonna switch over to Adobe Dimensions here. When you first open Adobe Dimensions, you can just create new, and it'll bring you right to this screen. It is loading currently. There we go. You got this same three-dimensional graph that you can rotate with the right click of your mouse, and once you have an object here, you can move that with the left click. So with Adobe Dimensions, you get all sorts of shapes and pre-made objects for you, but obviously it's not going to have everything that you want. Accidentally did that. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things here, but if you notice, there's no cups or bottles as you go through here. So that is a common thing that people like to make in Photoshop and bring them in here. So we're gonna go and find that file that we just saved and open it in Dimensions here. I'm having trouble finding it. I can't even get it to show up. Okay. Well, I'm gonna open up a different object file that I created. I will have to find out how to save from Photoshop and get into Dimensions again. I must be missing a step. All right. Let me go into here. Here we go. We have a bottle that I created a while ago. I'm gonna quick look at what kind of file I'm gonna figure this out.
I was gonna say, otherwise, if you can't, we can always just post, like, you can comment what it was
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, the workaround. Yeah. Here, I'm just gonna quick look at it. But yeah, because that soap still isn't even just showing up at all in my files when it's really strange. All right, anyway, once you get your object in Adobe Dimensions, there is a lot more you can do here than Photoshop and Illustrator. But once again, you cannot create the 3D objects themselves in this program, which is probably one of its main downfalls, but nonetheless, you can still do a lot here. So if you have your object selected, you can go through and make it a bunch of different materials that are already set here. You can go to Adobe Stock and find more that you're looking for, but most of them you have to pay for. But I'd say that these cover a lot of the options that you are looking for, including glass. Glass is super helpful when you're using bottles. It's obviously see-through and it does it all for you. It's very nice. Can change color of it to make it any kind of colored bottle you want, which is very interesting to see because you don't see a lot of colored bottles out there. So that is a fun thing to play with. And once again, you can get your logos and stuff on here as well. All you need to do is go over to actions when you have your model selected and place graphic on model. And you can select from your files what type of logo you would want to put on it. You just save it as a JPEG or a PNG. Any logo you can put on it. So I'll just find an old one here really quick to throw on. Here, we'll throw. Let's see what this is. I don't even know what this is. Oh, this is a photo I had. So when you place a bottle or place an image on a bottle like this that's revolved, it's going to look a little weird until you move it around and you can find the right angle. It's kind of a little glitchy sometimes, but you can eventually figure it out nonetheless. And then I'm just gonna show you what this program is capable of. I'll show you a finished project. I'm not gonna save that because I'd like to show you its rendering capabilities, and that is what we are going to use as like our final project or whatever. What we're gonna hand in at the end of the day.
I have a question.
What's that?
So, like, if I wanted the bottle to be one material, but like the cap to be another one, do I have to make two different objects?
Yes. Yes, in order to do that, you would have to make them two different objects because you can only apply one material to one object. Yep, so right here, this is one of the projects I did in my junior year, and this is what I came up with. I made the carrier out of rectangles with holes in them, and I made the bottles as I showed you before. The bottle caps are actually, I think I use these tin, there's like a tin can. Yeah, these twist cans, and I made them really small and they look like bottle caps. So you can get creative with it all. And yeah, I made the material on them also like metal, and they have the nice little rims on them like a bottle cap would be. Yes, there is a lot of potential with this program. Anyway, there's also backgrounds that it comes with, the program comes with. There's several here. Um, let's see. Select, oh no, let's select the file. I'm not sure how to see all the different options for the backgrounds right now. Actually, I think they're in this left window here. Yes, all the backgrounds, there's a bunch here for you. There's a city, a desert. Table is what I use a lot. If you take a picture of your own table, you can upload that. Make sure you just take a picture of the table like something's on the table, but there's not actually anything there. It's kind of a weird thing, but that's probably one thing with this project I could have done. Gone to the location I based this project off of, taking a picture of a table there, and then you can literally put it in that environment, which is a really cool aspect of this program. But anyway, right now, if you haven't already noticed, this doesn't look very high quality right now, but there is a rendering tool that comes with this program to make this all look a lot nicer. So if you just go up here in the top right corner, it will have a render preview. So it will be a render of it, but not necessarily the highest quality render. So we're just going to click on that, and it'll slowly work its way up and make things look the way they should in like real life. And then you can save the scenes as PNGs. In the top right here, you can share your 3D scene, and then you can snapshot as a PNG, or you can publish a 3D scene. Publishing a 3D scene will allow you to create a link that leads directly to this project. Anyone can access it without an Adobe account, and they can look at the entire 3D object, but it won't be a rendered version of it, so they will just get an idea of the form and the layout, but they will miss that detail that is in the rendering. But it looks like it's finished rendering here. Oh, I just zoomed in and now it stopped. So it's got to do it again. But but yes, this is the potential of this program here. I created all these little labels and typed in Illustrator, saved them as JPEGs and PNGs, placed them onto these objects, and it just looks like I created this whole carrier, but I did it all digitally. And that is what you can do with almost any project that you do your junior and senior year as well, because a lot of them do have to do with making a physical thing, and they're not necessarily the easiest things to build in person. So you can do it here first, or you can just focus on doing it all here if you want and create all sorts of different scenes. I think that is all I have for you. I will look into saving the file correctly to get the Photoshop files over to Adobe Dimensions, because that is very important if you're making your own 3D models. Otherwise, you can find some online to import as well. Thank you for your time, and that is all I got for you.
Thank you, Kevin. That was awesome.
Wow,
That was,
thanks.
I know you had that hiccup, but that was
Yeah,
awesome. I mean, like, I only knew like maybe a small percentage of all of that. So
yeah. What I just taught you, it took me like several hours to learn and figure out. So hopefully I'll give you a bit of a head start.
yeah, that's why these are just so important, because like I feel like we all go down these rabbit holes, but like hopefully there's this opportunity to like share those things and
Yeah.
be able to look them back up and all
Yep.
that.
It's just nice having a lot of variety between the programs too, because in Photoshop you can do the materials and stuff like that as well. It's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more of a wonkier interface. It's a lot easier in Dimensions. So getting your file over Dimensions is like a huge thing, just because Dimensions is really easy to use, but it doesn't have a lot of capabilities like making objects. So
Yeah. Yeah, that was stuff I did not like.
Yeah.
How clever that was with what you did with the cap. I was like, oh my God, I should have just like not even asked my question.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
had
yeah.
that
Because
covered.
like I was trying to make a cap, and it's a little hard to get the ridges and stuff. I looked up a video of how to do it, but it was pretty articulate, and I just wanted a quick thing.
Yeah,
So there was, they already had a little cap on a little jar, so I just made the whole thing really tiny, stuck it on there.
so clever.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, does Casey or Tony have any questions for you, or did you want to wrap it up with anything else?
No, that's pretty much all I have. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, Illustrator is just for quick 3D stuff that you just kind of want to see before you pursue further, I would say. So I say start at Illustrator when you're doing 3D stuff, if you can make the model there using the revolve method. Start there, just get an idea of how it looks. Maybe you want a bottle, maybe you want a can, maybe you want some can with like a cap that you can take on and off and it looks a lot different, has a handle on it, whatever. Start in Illustrator. That's what I'm getting at. And then once you find your form and what looks decent on it, bring it into Photoshop, make it there, and then bring it in Dimensions for your final step of portraying it.
So you can't export an object out of Illustrator. You have to do it out of Photoshop.
I don't think you can save as a 3D object within Illustrator. So you're going to have to make it in Photoshop because Illustrator doesn't have the export as 3D model option. But if you can make it in Illustrator, you can do the same exact thing in Photoshop pretty easily. So.
So I just came up with a question.
Yeah.
Is that possible to add the liquid in that
Yes.
bottle?
Yes. I could have gone over that. Basically, you just make the same exact object, and when you put it in a material like glass, it's transparent. Make like just the body of the bottle, and there is a material in Dimensions that is water, that is like liquid. So it recognizes all of that for you. Yep.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yep.
That was a really good question. I can't believe I didn't even think of that.
I could have gone over that, but yeah, basically just make the, like, you know how I made the cup with like that L-shape form, that simple L-shape form? Basically what fills that bottle, like the other portion that would fill the cup, so to speak, you make that a 3D object, and then you can change that material to water and put it in there. Yeah, it's crazy.
I suppose like change all the colors and stuff and make it look like the drink you want.
There's a lot you can do in Dimensions once you can get stuff there. So yes.
Sweet.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, no problem. It was a good time.
A little more of an intimate setting than I think we expected.
That's fine. That's fine.
Less pressure when we had that hiccup, though.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's just really weird because it's not even showing up in my files, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I know it was saving as a. It's so weird. Oh wait, I think I found it. I found it.
You had another folder named 412.
Here, I'm gonna share my screen again.
Okay.
No, it was further into it. I don't know how it got there. But here, we'll import 3D model. It was further into it. It saved all the way into there it is. Found it. This was my cup from Photoshop. So that is how you do it. That is how you save it. I was right. I just couldn't find the file. Classic. Wow.
Classic for sure.
Yep. So yeah, as Tom, you was saying before, like I would just make a 3D object that fits in here. And there is a water material. Where is that? Right here. It's a water like texture. So I can make this whole thing water. But yeah, it's like really clear. This looks weird, but if it was filled in there, it would obviously look a lot better. So yeah. Cool. I didn't screw up. I'm just an idiot.
Nope. It's just all about knowing where your files are. Oh my gosh.
Saved like 2 folders deep from where I thought it was, which is strange. So cool.
Sweet. You
That is
did
definitely,
awesome.
yep, that is definitely all I have for you guys then. That is probably 80 to 90% of what I know about the 3D potential of those programs. So
Awesome. Well, we can definitely go far with all of this. I feel like you set us up for like some really good options. I feel like if we take it upon ourselves to, you know,
Right.
get creative and play around
Cool.
with it a little.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that.
So thank you so much. I guess we can kind of end it now unless anyone else wants to say anything or ask any other questions.
Yeah, you
Oh,
guys got
good
anything?
job.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Kevin, you
guys.
did
Good job teaching.
Mhm.
I don't plan on becoming a professor or anything like that.
You got it. So.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even if you want to be like one of those YouTube guys who just throws on
Oh,
a tutorial
yeah.
every now and then.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
It's good to know. I'll keep that as a backup plan.
Yes. Sweet. All right. Well, I guess I'll end it here, and then thank you guys for coming. To whoever decides to watch this in the future, thank you guys for checking it out. I'm going to go ahead and post this up to Slack as soon as it finishes downloading onto my computer, because that takes forever. So
Casey, feel free to edit it however you want. Do whatever you want. I trust you, man.
I won't make it look like a dork, so.
Yeah, all right. Are you gonna put a bunch like when I make weird faces when I'm explaining stuff? You're gonna put,
Yeah,
like,
I'll just
little
blow up
funny
your
blurbs?
head, like just make it super
Yeah.
large or something.
Yeah. Put like the clown face right next to me and the emoji or whatever. Yeah.
For my personal archetype, but
Cool. All right, I'm gonna head out of here. I got some other stuff to get done.
sweet.
Thank you
Awesome.
guys for watching and listening in.
Thank
yeah,
you, Kevin.
see you later.
Yep.
Thank you.
See ya.
Guys.